स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's session on Sikshastakam. In the last 4 weeks, we have been discussing the first 4 shlokas of Sikshastakam. They are more relevant for a sadhaka. They are on the sadhana bhakti plane. And even the 5th shloka of Sikshastakam is also on the plane of sadhana bhakti. But from 6th shloka, the discussion goes little deeper and it goes to bhava bhakti. The 6th and 7th shlokas of Sikshastakam are on the stage of bhava bhakti, and 8th shloka is on the stage of prema bhakti. So that's why we are going to discuss these shlokas very fast, because most of us are sadhakas. Some of you may be very elevated, but because most of us are sadhakas, therefore we have been discussing sadhana bhakti related shlokas more elaborately, and the higher shlokas little briefly. So let me give a quick preview of what we have already discussed before we enter the later shlokas. So in the first shloka, we have seen the 7 results of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So we have seen the 7 effects of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Actually 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana, that includes glorifying Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela with our body, mind, words. It's a very big spectrum presented in the first shloka of Sikshastakam. It's Sri Krishna Sankirtanam in generic. But the second shloka describes specifically the holy names of the Lord. We have seen 7 results of Sri Krishna Sankirtan in the first shloka, but in the second shloka we have seen 3 qualities of holy name. The holy name of the Lord is very powerful, very accessible, and very merciful. But it is our misfortune that we don't have taste for it. But holy name is very powerful, merciful, and accessible. That we have seen in the second shloka. Nam namakari bahudhani sarva shakti. In the third shloka, we have seen 4 qualities that are required for a devotee to be able to chant the holy names of the Lord always. 4 keys for constant chanting. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanaya sadaharihi. Means to be humble, humbler than blade of grass, and to be more tolerant than a tree, and to not expect respect from anyone, but to offer respect to everyone. Sunichatva, Sahishnutva, Nirabhimana, and Samman. These are the 4 qualities that will help us chant the holy names of the Lord, which is merciful, accessible, and powerful. So that we have seen in the third shloka. But along with cultivating these good qualities, we need to stay away from some bad qualities. We need to identify what are the unfavorable activities in devotional service, or personality traits that are unfavorable for our advancement in bhakti. So they are described in the 4th shloka. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahitu kitvai. So obsession for wealth, followers, attachment to opposite gender, and kavitamba, too much of praise, adoration, scholarship, and also desire for liberation. These are the 5 things that are unfavorable for bhakti. By practicing bhakti also, one can be very wealthy, one can have fame, name, reputation, etc. But if one becomes overly obsessed with them at the cost of compromising on bhakti, one cannot attain Krishna prema. So these are obstacles. We need to be very careful about them. Then 5th point. The 5th shloka describes our natural constitutional position. So by understanding the glories of Krishna Sankirtana, by understanding the power of holy name, And by adopting the favorable moods for constant chanting, and by avoiding unfavorable attributes for bhakti, we need to identify ourselves as a servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupahe Krishnera Nitya Das. All of us are servants of Krishna. We are Amshas of Krishna. We are also servants of Krishna. So that mood of being a servant of Krishna is most favorable and most desirable uh, for a sadhaka to effectively practice bhakti. That's what is being described in the fifth shloka, where Mahaprabhu says, Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Bhudau Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya. Mahaprabhu prays that may I identify myself as a servant of Krishna. In the mode of being a servant of Krishna, let me avoid unfavorable practices for bhakti. Let me adopt favorable practices for bhakti. And let me understand the glories of chanting the holy names of the Lord and perform bhakti. So we will elaborate on this fifth shloka soon. But let's see a quick outline of entire Sikshastakam once. The sixth shloka and the seventh shloka. These two shlokas describe bhava bhakti. So once you perform sadhana bhakti and you perfect yourself nicely in your sadhana bhakti, basically you situate yourself in the mood of a servant of Krishna, then we will be able to attain bhava or emotions for the Lord. And what are the symptoms of those emotional attachment for the Lord? What are the symptoms of the bhava bhakti? There are two types of symptoms. One external symptoms, second internal symptoms. Sorry, here it is external symptoms, not eternal. Of course, they can be eternal also. Both are correct. There are some external symptoms of bhakti, there are some internal symptoms of bhakti, of bhava bhakti. That we will see in the sixth and seventh shlokas. In the eighth shloka, eighth shloka is the last shloka of Sikshastakam. This describes steadiness in one's emotional attachment towards Krishna, steadiness in one's bonding. That we will see at the end of our class today. Now let's begin a detailed discussion from the fifth shloka. So far I have given an outline of entire Sikshastakam. Now I'll focus on this one shloka, fifth shloka. Ayi Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Bhudau Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya. This is Mahaprabhu's prayer in this fifth shloka. He says that Ayi Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Nanda Tanuja is Krishna. Why is he called Nanda Tanuja? Nanda Maharaj is the king of Vrindavan. And Tanuja means son. Tanu basically is body. Ja means that which is born out of body. Basically, a child comes from the body of a parent. Therefore, a child is called Tanuja. Yashoda Tanuja or Nanda Tanuja means Krishna, who is born from Nanda Maharaj. Kinkaram means I am a servant. I am a servant of the son of Nanda Maharaj, O Lord. Then what is my current condition? Although my glorious position is to be a servant of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Patitam Mam, I have fallen into this material existence. Vishame Bhavam Bhutav. Bhava means material existence. Ambudhi means ocean. It's an ocean. Material existence is considered a huge ocean. Vishame means very horrible ocean. Vishame Bhavam Bhuta means horrible ocean of nescience, horrible ocean of material existence. Patitam Mam, I have fallen into this horrible ocean of material existence. So this is an understanding of his situation. So before we advance to higher levels of bhakti, we should have the honesty to admit our fallen condition, right? Sometimes or many times the conditioned souls don't even realize their fallen condition. Unless we even realize that we have some disease, why will we take medicine? Even that realization that I am sick, I am diseased, my body is not functioning properly, if even that understanding itself is not there, the inspiration to take medicine will not be there. So we need to take inspiration to practice bhakti, and we'll be sufficiently inspired to take to different devotional practices when we are convinced that we are in an unnatural position. We are in a position which is not suitable for us, that is, rotting in this material existence. So Mahaprabhu first says that patitam mam vishame bhavam hudau, we are into this material existence. And once you understand your own fallen condition, then you understand Krishna's elevated situation, then you can naturally take shelter of uh, a person who is more powerful than you. Somebody is drowning in an ocean, and they saw a ship uh, sailing very successfully across the ocean. So, in the ship, there are some people. So, naturally, this person who is drowning in the ocean must seek help of a person who is not drowning in the ocean, who is safely there in the ship. And the Supreme Lord Krishna is the and the process of bhakti unto Supreme Lord Krishna acts like a boat. Kripaya, with your causeless mercy, tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Very interesting statement made by Mahaprabhu. Tava pada pankaja means your lotus feet. Whose lotus feet? Krishna's lotus feet. Hmm. Sthita dhuli means a dust particle situated at the lotus feet of Krishna. Dhuli is dust. Sthita means situated. Hmm. Tava refers to Krishna. Here, Tava refers to Nanda Tanuja. Okay, Oyi Nanda Tanuja, oh Lord, son of Nanda Maharaj. Tava means your. Pada means feet. Pankaja means lotus. Panka means dirt, mud. Ja means that which is born out of mud. Just like Tanuja means that which is born out of body. And Pankaja means that which is born out of mud. What is born out of mud? So a lotus takes birth from mud. So Krishna's feet are often compared to lotus because they are born out of mud. Although they are born out of mud, they are very beautiful. So Kripaya, out of your causeless mercy, you please keep me at your lotus feet as dust particle. What does it mean? Aspiring to become a dust particle at the feet of Krishna? Does it mean losing one's existence? Does it mean desiring for impersonal liberation? What do you mean by being situated at the lotus feet of Krishna as a dust particle? Is the aspiration of a devotee to become a dust particle at the lotus feet of the Lord? All of us are aspiring to become dust particle. Where is the question of rasas there? Where is the question of service there? Impersonalists want to merge into the effulgence of the Lord, and here is a devotee praying to become a dust particle at the lotus feet of the Lord. So how are they different? Can anyone answer this question? Or should I only explain? Anyone would like to comment on this? Yes.
Prabhuji, I think that trying to become a dust particle at Krishna's lotus feet is as good as surrender, selfless surrender.
Mm-hmm.
While the impersonalist wants to merge,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
we are
Anything
not
else?
merging into him. We're trying to surrender.
You're right. Any
Okay.
any other perspectives? Uh, so yeah, Ram.
Prabhuji, because we are showing that we are so fallen that we are very fallen and we cannot stay in a great position near Krishna. When we are in the position of like as an example, when we are asked, when we are that fallen as a dust particle, then Krishna will take us so nicely.
Okay.
Roji, being a dust particle in Krishna's lotus feet, it is a very humble thing, and our humility increases by that. And Roji, also Uddhava says that he wants to become a creeper in the land of Vrindavan so that the gopis can step on him and he will get purified. So,
Yes. Excellent. All three answers are great. Basically, becoming a dust particle at the lotus feet of Krishna expresses one's mode of surrender, as this one boy said. Also expresses one's humility, as the other boy said. So, and also it understands that the person acknowledges that I have been fallen, as the other boy said. All the three boys said nicely. So we need to understand that we are fallen. And once you understand your fallen situation, you develop that mode of humility. then you understand Krishna's glory. In that mode of humility, you surrender to Krishna who is greater than you. So feet are considered the lowest part of one's body. Not considered, they are the lowest part of one's body. So I want to become dust particle under your feet. What does it mean? I want to completely surrender to you. I understand, humbly, I understand my position insignificant in comparison to you. I accept your lordship. I accept your masterhood. I accept that you are the proprietor. I'm accepting that I'm completely dependent on you. I'm completely giving up my conceptions of being controller, proprietor, master, or enjoyer in this material world. Anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama. I don't have any other shelter except you. So that's what is being expressed here. It's the mood. Not that devotees want to lose their individuality, not that devotees wanted to completely relinquish their identities and become dust particles. Dust particles, in one sense, dust particles have not much identity. But to become a dust particle at the lotus feet of a Vaishnav or at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord is the greatest identity or aspiration of a great devotee. So that's the greatest fortune. We need to cultivate this understanding that to become a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord is the most privileged position. In this material world, when you're the boss of the boss of the boss of the boss of all bosses, when you're in a very high position in the hierarchy, you're considered great. But in the spiritual life, when you're the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, you're considered great. Tad bhritya bhritya paricharaka bhritya bhritya bhrityasya bhritya itimam smara lokanatha. Bhrityasya bhritya itimam. I want to become the servant of 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 the servant. 7 times servant word comes in that Kulashekara Alvar's prayer in Mukundamala Stotra. So that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not simply say Sthita Dhuli. He also said, I am Kinkaram. You see, this Dhuli, Pada Pankaja Dhuli is connected to Kinkaram. When he says only Dhuli, somebody may interpret it as, oh, you want to give up your existence. No, he says, Kinkaram, I am servant. I am servant of your lotus feet. I want to serve your lotus feet, and I want to situate myself constantly at your lotus feet. So sthita dhuli, sthita means situation, right? Sthiti means you are positioned there. I want to be positioned as a servant of the Lord, just as dhuli is positioned at the feet of somebody. Similarly, I want to position at the feet of the Supreme Lord as a kinkara, as a servant. What is kinkara? Kim kara. What can I do for you? Kim means what? Kara, do. So Kim Kara means someone who is constantly on call. Means as soon as the master wants something to be done, immediately this Kinkara servant will come and say, please tell me what am I supposed to do? I will do it for you. Or constantly on call, constantly reporting to him, constantly showing one's willingness to serve according to their expectations of the master. So this is the mood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting here. Ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitam vam vishami bhavam bhado kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. My dear Lord, it's not that I want to become your servant. Of course, I want to, but you have to sanction it also. Sadrisham vichintaya means vichintaya. Please consider me like that. Although I want to become your servant, unless you sanction that position of being your servant, I won't be able to serve you. Whatever service we are doing to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, or Parampara, the Acharyas, Guru, Krishna, Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are able to do it only because Krishna sanctioned it. Without Krishna's sanction, we will not get any privileged opportunity to serve him. Let's not become envious of other devotees who are rendering service to the Lord. Because it is with Krishna's sanction that they are serving. And if I am being envious of another devotee who is serving the Lord, then if I am feeling uncomfortable seeing another devotee serving the Lord in a certain way, I am going against Krishna's sanction. Because without Krishna's sanction, we won't be able to serve him. We won't get an opportunity only to serve him. So this is the meaning of this 5th shloka. Who will tell me the meaning? Yes, you can say the meaning. Let's have a quick revision before we go to the 6th shloka.
Prabhuji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, O Krishna, O son of Nand Maharaj, please accept me as your eternal servant and as a dust particle at your lotus feet.
Okay, fine. Great. So let's go to the next shloka, 6th shloka. And by the way, this 5th shloka is also a part of sadhana bhakti. The first 5 shlokas of Sikshastakam are on the level of sadhana bhakti. But the next 2 shlokas are on the level of bhava bhakti. Let's see. Nayanam galadhashrudharaya vadanam gadgada ruddhaya gira polakair nichitam vapuhu kada tavanama grihane bhavishyati. Now, once you identify yourself as a servant of Krishna, servant of the servant of Krishna, menial, humble servant of Krishna, and always be situated in that emotion, and that emotion of being a servant becomes constant in you, then it is called bhava bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, in the stage of sadhana bhakti, we understand that we are servants of Krishna. Even a small child also understands that I am a servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishna Nityadas, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Memorizing the shloka is easy. Even understanding the meaning of the shloka is also easy. But to be constantly in the mood of being a servant, constantly adopt that emotion of being a servant of Krishna is very difficult. Not that easy. You see? Now, as Kinkaram, means we understand the meaning of the shloka that we are all Kinkaram, we are all servants of Krishna. Kim Kara means what am I supposed to do? You are always ready to do what the master is expecting you to do. But do we really have that service attitude? We understand the meaning of the shloka, we understand the meaning of the word Kim Kara intellectually, theoretically. We understand that we are servants of Krishna philosophically. But how much are we ready to serve Krishna? How much service attitude we have? Maybe sometimes we get service attitude. On a festival day, we go to DT kitchen and ask, can I do some service? Or we go to Prasadam serving counter and ask, can I serve Prasadam? Today is Janmashtami, therefore I want to serve Prasadam. Today is Govardhan Puja, therefore I want to cook, make bhoga. We say that. But is this emotion of being servant constant in us? In sadhaka stage, that emotion of being a servant of Krishna is very intermittent, inconsistent. Sometimes we identify ourselves as servants, and sometimes we identify ourselves as masters of other servants, right? When that emotion of being a servant becomes constant, then we are in bhava stage. But when that emotion of being a servant comes and goes, it's intermittent. Agama apayino anityaha. Agama apayino means it comes and goes. Anitya means impermanent. We are constantly not being in the mode of servant. Why? Why are we not constantly being in the mode of servant? Can anyone say? Because of anarthas. Because of lust, envy, pride, greed, and all these anarthas, we are unable to maintain that consistency in our emotion of being a servant. Krishna dasa abhimanayananda sindhu koti brahma sukhana he tara eka bindu. Krishna dasa abhimana, the abhiman or the conception or the emotion of being a servant of Krishna can give us ultimate bliss, unlimited bliss. Koti Brahma Sukha Nahe Tara Eka Bindu. In comparison to the bliss of being a servant of Krishna, even Brahmananda multiplied by 1 crore times is insignificant. Chaitanya Charitamrita says this. Adilila, 6th chapter says this. Krishna Dasa Abhimana Yananda Sindhu Koti Brahma Sukha Nahe Tara Eka Bindu. So, emotion of being a servant of Krishna is the topmost emotion that one can aspire for. That's amazing. However, how much are we able to adopt that emotion? How much are we consistently maintaining that emotion? And what is an obstacle in adopting that emotion constantly? It's our anarthas, our lust, our envy, our pride, our greed, our anger, our illusion, our attachment to material objects, material name, fame, prestige, all the dhanam, janam, sundarim, kavitam, all these 5 things that are described in the 4th shloka of Bhagavat, of Sikshastakam. So they act as obstacle for us to attain the mode of Kinkaram, servant of Krishna. But if we can overcome these obstacles, and adopt the mode of humble mode of servant of Krishna, like Tranadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtane Sadahari. If we adopt third shloka, if we avoid the items mentioned in the fourth shloka, and if we are constantly in the mode of the fifth shloka, Kinkaram, Tanuja Kinkaram, then we can demonstrate the mode exhibited in the sixth shloka. First and second shlokas are describing the Sambandha Jnana. Of course, all shlokas are describing in one sense Sambandha Jnana. Especially the first 5 shlokas are discussing specifically Sambandha Jnana. I'll come to that analysis a little later. But first 2 shlokas are giving us the information how potent Sri Krishna Sankirtanam is, how potent the holy name is, and also describing our own misfortune of not being able to put that into practice. But favorable practices, what can help us adopt that practice of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam? That's mentioned in the third shloka. What is an obstacle? That's mentioned in the fourth shloka. But the fifth shloka says that you need to be identifying yourself as a servant of Krishna. So when we are able to identify ourselves as servants of Krishna, as described in the fifth shloka, taking benefit of the first 4 shlokas, then we will be constantly in bliss. Krishna Dasa Abhimana Yei Ananda Sindhu. To adopt that Ananda, to experience that Ananda Sindhu, to experience that oceanic happiness of being a servant of Krishna, we need to implement the first 5 shlokas. We have to put them in action. But if one who was able to adopt this humility, tolerance, etc., and avoid this attachment to dhanam, janam, sundaram, etc., and constantly identify oneself as a kinkaram of Krishna, such a person can manifest these pastimes. Yeah, manifest these symptoms. What are the symptoms? Nayanam galadhashrudharaya. Ashrudhara means flow of fire, means there is flow of eyes, flow of tears from the eyes out of love for Krishna. Vadanam gadgadarudhaya gira. Your voice is faltering. You are unable to speak properly. Huh? Sorry. Pulaka nichitam vapuha kada. Pulaka means hair standing on end. Means goosebumps. Some ecstatic symptoms that the bodily hairs were standing on end. So 3 symptoms. 1, tears. Eyes shedding tears. Second, voice is faltering. And the body are standing. Tavane bhavishyati. When are these symptoms manifested? When are these 3 things happening to you? When you are chanting the holy names of the Lord. By the way, all these are external symptoms. Tears falling from eyes and voice faltering, hair standing on end. They are external symptoms, physical symptoms, visible symptoms. But for these external symptoms to manifest, there should be some internal symptoms. What are the internal symptoms or internal consciousness? What is that internal consciousness of a devotee that enables the devotee to manifest these external symptoms? They are described in the 7th shloka. Got it? Can someone tell me the meaning of this 3rd shloka? Sorry, 6th shloka? Who will say the meaning before we go to the next one?
First, tears of love flow from my eyes. Second, voice falters. Third, hairs of body stands.
Okay, so these are the symptoms of someone who is in bhava, someone who is constantly in an emotional state of being a servant of Krishna. Tava nama grahane bhavishyati. And when will these symptoms manifest? Just by chanting the name of Krishna. Tava nama grahane bhavishyati. You don't even have to see Krishna. You don't even hear about the qualities of Krishna. You don't get any personal reciprocation from Krishna. Nothing else. Just you have taken the name Krishna. Just by remembering the name Krishna or uttering the name Krishna or hearing the name Krishna, just the name of Krishna can induce such ecstatic emotions in you. To that degree, one can love Krishna, right? That is bhava. That is the bhava stage. So these are the external symptoms. Let's elaborate a little more. As I said sometime back, the first 5 shlokas reveal to us a systematic development of eternal constitutional identity. Systematically, we come to that position of identifying ourselves as Kinkaram, servant of Krishna. Eternal constitutional identity of all living entities is Krishna's Kinkara. And this will happen by following the 9 processes of bhakti. By following the 9 processes of bhakti, we pass through 9 stages of bhakti. What are the 9 processes of bhakti? Anyone knows? 9 processes of bhakti. Yes, Haridev, you know?
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam,
Hmm.
Bandanam,
They are the 9.
Dasyam,
Correct.
Sakya,
Shravanam. What are the 9 stages of bhakti? What are the 9 stages? Anyone knows the stages? Yes.
Shraddha, Bhajana, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Ananta Niviti, Nishtha, Asakti, Bhava, Prema.
Very good. There is a confusion. Devotees may sometimes get confused between stages and processes. There are different processes of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam. There are different stages of bhakti, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Or in other words, bhakti stages can also be seen as sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So let us see. So by following the 9 processes of bhakti, we pass through 9 stages of bhakti. Now there is a sincere prayer offered to the Lord. Oh Lord, let me come to these higher stages of bhakti by following these different processes of bhakti. Sometimes we may practice bhakti for long time, but we may not be able to cross even anartha nivritti stage. That takes a lot of time. Still, even after practicing for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, still there is some lust in the heart. Still there is some envy in the heart. Still there is some greed. Still there is some obsession for material name, fame, prestige. Anarthas are still there because the bhakti is not practiced very sincerely. Anarthas are not going so easily. What helps us destroy this anarthas? Hearing Bhagavatam regularly helps us destroy the anarthas. What is the proof? You can go to the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto of Bhagavatam. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naisthiki. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu means our anarthas are automatically gone or almost gone when we regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam and render service to devotees who have internalized the messages of Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya is not just serving or hearing book Bhagavatam, it is also rendering service to person Bhagavatam. So, Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Before hearing Bhagavatam regularly, with attachment and with consistency, our bhakti may be unsteady. This is called Anishtita Bhakti. But to make that Anishtita Bhakti into Nishtita Bhakti, for bhakti to become Naishtiki Bhakti, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki, we need to hear Bhagavatam regularly. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya will help us Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. What's the concept there? Why? By hearing Bhagavatam on a regular basis, your heart is getting purified of anarthas, nashtaprayeshu, abhadreshu. Abhadra means anartha, basically. How hearing Bhagavatam clears all anarthas and makes our bhakti steady? Answer is given in the 2nd canto of Bhagavatam. Pravishta कर्णरन्ध्रेण स्वानां भावसरोरुहं धुनोति शमलं कृष्णः सलिलस्य यथा शरत्. When you are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Pravishtah Karnarandhrena, Krishna will enter our ear holes. And through the ear holes, Swanam Bhavasaroruham, Krishna will enter the hearts and sit on the lotus of the devotee's emotions. Ears are like doors. This is door and this is home. To enter somebody's home, you need to pass through their door, right? Similarly, Krishna enters our hearts by passing through our ears. For that, we need to open the ears. Ears are always open, but we need to expose these open ears not towards gossip, not towards mundane subject matters. We need to expose these open ears to Hari Katha, hearing Krishna Katha. There are so many links. Now you have this YouTube link, and you clicked on this link, and then you came to the Sikshastakam discussion. You click some other YouTube link, you may hear some Bhagavatam discussion. You click some other YouTube link, you will hear some other discussion, Zoom link. But there are so many other links, Zoom links, hyperlinks, or YouTube links. They point to materialistic sound vibrations. When we tune our consciousness to materialistic sound vibrations, when we expose our ears to unnecessary soul degrading discussions, then anarthas will increase, they will not decrease. But when we open our ears to Bhagavatam sound vibrations, through that sound of vibration of Bhagavatam, Krishna will enter the ears. Krishna will sit in the emotion of our hearts, lotus of our hearts. And Dhunoti Shamalam Krishna, he will clear all the anarthas. Krishna will clean all the anarthas. Don't think that how can I engage Krishna in cleaning job? It's a menial service. How can I engage Krishna in this jhadu pocha work? You may think like that, grooming and mopping of my hat, filthy hat. No, you don't have the ability to do it on your own. Because we don't have the ability to clean our hearts from lust, envy, pride, greed, and other anarthas, malicious intentions, and unnecessary desires. We don't have that ability to clean our hearts on our own independently. We have to depend on Krishna. We have to depend on the process of bhakti yoga. Then only cleansing of the heart will happen. Otherwise, heart will not be cleansed. So for proper cleaning of the hearts, we need to take assistance from Krishna. And actually, Krishna likes to do it. Krishna likes to clean our hearts. But Krishna is just waiting for us to invite us into the homes of our hearts through the doors of our ears so that he can come and clear the anarthas. Let's depend on Krishna. We don't have the ability to clean our hearts independently of bhakti yoga. No other process can clean our hearts as much as bhakti yoga does. All this karma path, jnana path, yoga path, and any other pseudo-spiritual paths, they don't have the ability to clean our hearts of lust, envy, pride, greed. Only bhakti yoga can clean it thoroughly. And because Krishna is personally cleaning it, no one can do a thorough job like him. So we need to allow Bhagavatam sound vibration to enter our hearts, then the heart will be cleansed. So when the heart is cleansed of all anarthas, then we will become steady in our bhakti. We'll develop emotions for Krishna. As long as there are anarthas, we cannot have constant and consistent emotions of being a servant of Krishna. Every now and then, these emotions of being lust, envy, pride, greed, they will keep on coming. They will disturb us in our bhakti. They will not allow us to advance in bhakti. We'll be distracted in bhakti. We'll be unsteady in the practice of bhakti. For that, we need to regularly hear pure sound vibration. So that's why 9 processes of bhakti will help us pass through 9 stages. We'll come to from the lower stages by clearing anarthas and come to the higher stages of nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava, prema, only by following the process of bhakti sincerely. And the foremost of it is Shravanam, hearing. And Shravanam or Sankirtanam must be done in sadhu sangha. Shravanam Kirtanam. It must be done in sadhu sangha. And Parasparana Kathanam, Satam Prasangan, Mama Virya Samvido. So many shlokas we know. Satam Prasangan, Mama Virya Samvido, Bhavanti Hrit Karna Rasayana Katha. Tajjoshanada Swapavargavartmani Shraddharatir Bhaktir Anukravishyati. Satam Prasangan, Mama Virya Samvido. In the association of devotees, there is a constant discussion about Krishna's glories. Bhavanti Hrit Karna Rasayana Katha. And that constant discussion of Krishna's glories will act as Karna Rasayana, a nectar for the ears, nectar for the heart. And by absorbing yourself in those sound vibrations, spiritual discussions, Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishyati, slowly we will pass through the stages of Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, and all this, and come to the stage of Bhakti or Prema. Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishyati. We will get Bhava and Prema by regular discussion of Harikatha. Now, we saw the external symptoms of bhava in the 6th shloka. Now let's see the internal symptoms of bhava. What will manifest those external symptoms of goosebumps, hair standing on end, voice faltering, tears coming from eyes? How can we manifest those symptoms? Internally, when we have love for Krishna, internally, when we feel separation from Krishna, that's described in the 7th shloka. Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. Yugayitam nimishena means devotees consider, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying here, he considers nimishena means one moment as yuga, a great millennium. A yuga has hundreds and thousands and lakhs of years. But one moment will appear like one yuga for a devotee. Why? Govinda Virahename, in a mode of separation from Lord Govinda. Chakshusha pravrishayitam. Chakshusha means from the eyes. Tears flow like torrents of rain. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam. Actually, Chakshusha pravrishayitam is described in the previous shloka also. Nayanam galadhashrudharaya vadanam gadgadarudhaya gira. Nayanam galadhashrudharaya and Chakshusha pravrishayitam are same. Right? Tears flowing from the eyes. But the tears flow from the eyes out of emotions, out of a feeling of pain of separation from the Lord. When we have some physical pain, also tears will come from the eyes. But this is not physical pain. This is internal pain. The pain of being separated from the Lord, or the pain of being in separation from the Lord, or although you are in the presence of the Lord, you still feel the pain of separation from the Lord, thinking that maybe the Lord will get up and go away. What will happen to me then? Yasya kshana viyogena loko hyapriya darshanah uktena rahito hyesha mritakah prochyate yatha. Arjuna says in the first canto of Bhagavatam, Yasya kshana viyogena, even one moment of separation from Krishna, loko hi apriya darshanah, entire universe will appear apriya, unpleasant. Uktena rahito hyesha mritakah prochyate yatha, entire universe will appear like a dead body, devoid of life, in separation from Krishna. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam, everything appears shunya, void, in separation from Krishna. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam. So, internally when there is pain, there are tears. Externally when there is pain, there are tears. But the internal tears are more important because they're born out of emotions, not from physical pain. So here, in separation from Krishna, whenever there is a situation where you are away from Krishna, you can't bear that pain. Not only Krishna, whenever you are away from Krishna's devotees, you cannot bear that pain. Krishna Bhakta Viraha. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Ramananda Rai, can you please tell me what is the greatest pain in this world? Then Ramananda Rai says that separation from the devotees of Krishna is the greatest pain. But here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Govinda Virahenami. Separation from Krishna causes so much pain in the heart, and this is a symptom of bhava. But how relevant it is for us to discuss, or what is the significance of feeling separation from devotees of Krishna? Viraha from Krishna, Krishna's devotees, not Krishna himself. So, viraha from Krishna, or separation from Krishna, feeling of separation from Krishna is on a spiritual plane. But feeling of separation from a devotee of Krishna, can that be on spiritual plane? What is the significance of feelings of separation from Krishna? Anyone here? Feeling of separation from Krishna's devotees. Are they spiritual? Are they worth aspiring for? Actually, it is only in the association of devotees that we get the inspiration to remember Krishna. Because without the association of devotees, we can't hear Krishna, we can't remember Krishna. We can't get inspiration of remembering Krishna. Actually, in the association of devotees, there is Sravanam and Kirtanam. Without Sravanam and Kirtanam, how can we come to Smaranam? Smaranam is based on Sravanam and Kirtanam. Without sufficiently nourishing yourself with Sravanam and Kirtanam, without hearing sufficiently about Krishna, without chanting the names of Krishna and glorifying Krishna, how can we come to the stage of constantly remembering Krishna? Of course, the devotees are there. They are not sadhaka bhaktas. They are constantly remembering Krishna. I'm speaking about sadhaka bhakta. So hearing about the Lord is very important for us to come to the stage of constantly remembering Krishna. Constant remembrance of Krishna is the essence of all vidhis and nishedhas. Constant remembrance of Krishna. Smartavyah satatam Vishno vismartavyo na jatu chit. Sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayoreva kinkaraha. Smartavyah satatam Vishno. Always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna, is the essence of all scriptural rules and regulations. That's very clear. However, for us to come to that stage of constantly remembering Krishna, we need to associate with devotees who have that constant remembrance of Krishna. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya means bhakti is born in the association of bhaktas. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. Bhakti is born in the association of devotees of Krishna who have that bhakti. Prahlad's bhakti is born from Narada Muni's bhakti for Krishna. Right? So, Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido. Satam Prasangan means association of sadhus, sincere devotees. It is only in the association of sincere devotees that we develop loving emotions for Krishna. So, our feelings of separation from Krishna in remembrance of Krishna are based on the Sravanam and Kirtanam that we do in the association of devotees. Therefore, separation from devotees of Krishna is equally painful for devotees as much as separation from Krishna himself. Because devotees constantly remind us of Krishna. Right in the middle of Rasa Leela, when Krishna left all the Vrajavasis, all the gopis of Vrindavan, they were discussing about Krishna with each other. In the absence of Krishna, while immersed in feelings of separation from Krishna, they found some solace in each other's association where everyone is reminding them of Krishna. So, even when the Lord is personally present in front of so many devotees, as a result of their intense tapasya, all these devotees wanted the Lord to give them one benediction. What is that? We want the association of devotees. We want an opportunity to hear Harikatha in that association of devotees. Whether it is Dhruva Maharaj or Prachetas or anybody, Kunti Maharani, they are all aspiring for association of devotees and hear Krishna Katha in that association. Yavat tema ya yasprishta bhramama iha karma bhi tavat bhavat prasanganam sangasyanno bhave bhave. Although last class in Nadhanam Najanam Nasundarim class, we discussed this shloka. Prachetas are saying that we don't mind transmigrating from one body to another body, but wherever we are, whichever body we are in, whichever planet we may take birth in, we want the association of devotees. We want the association of Sangha of your devotees, in which we get constant Krishna Katha. We get constant inspiration to serve you and remember you. Therefore, feelings of separation are also experienced by devotees when they're in separation from devotees. Then we'll be able to truly feel separation from Krishna also, unbearable separation. So separation can be material and spiritual. But on a material plane, if you're feeling separation from somebody, that causes misery. But on spiritual plane, if you are feeling separation from Krishna or his devotees, that is a source of spiritual ecstasy. And sometimes there is something called prema vaichitya. Although there is union, although a devotee is right next to the Lord, still internally they feel separation. They miss the Lord so much in the presence of the Lord because of intense love. We discussed the story of Prem Sarovar where Radharani was feeling separation from Krishna. I will not elaborate on that story once again. So now as sadhakas, how can we feel this mode of separation? Now we are talking on bhava platform. 6th and 7th shlokas are on bhava platform. As sadhakas, how can we connect with it? And what lesson can we derive from this discussion of a devotee feeling intense separation from Krishna? Pandavas are feeling separation from Krishna because they are having an experience of constantly being in the presence of Krishna, right? Darshana sparsha samlapa shayanasana bhojanaihi. All these Pandavas were having 6 loving exchanges directly with Krishna. Therefore, Krishna's absence is making them feel so painful. So whether it is Pandavas or Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, she was feeling separation from Krishna. Kava saheta viraham purushottamasya prema avaloka ruchirasmita valgu jalpaihi. So Mother Earth is feeling separation from Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling separation from Krishna. Pandavas are feeling separation from Krishna. Dwarka Vasis, Mathura Vasis, Vrindavan Vasis, the gopis, all these devotees are feeling intense separation from Krishna, from Govinda, because they love Krishna. But they are in a very, very elevated platform of bhakti. What can a sadhaka understand from this? Actually, for a sadhaka, one's connection with Krishna is through elements of sadhana. Through Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, through all these services and hearing and chanting, we are in touch with Krishna. Right? So whenever we miss an opportunity to chant with devotees, whenever we miss an opportunity to hear Krishna Katha in the association of devotees, whenever we miss a festival, whenever we miss offering a lamp in Damodar month, whenever we miss singing Damodar Ashtakam on one day in Damodar month, we should feel separation. Let us cultivate attachment to these elements of sadhana. And whenever we happen to miss those elements of sadhana, let us feel separation from it. Oh, time is up. Now Damodar Ashtakam time has happened. Time is already there. Time is up. I'm missing today offering lamps. It's raining now. So you should miss that. Once you have that feeling of missing an opportunity to perform your sadhana. Oh, Bhagavatam class time is up. I did not go till now. Of course, if you are in a different service, that's a different thing. But point is, we should cultivate attachment towards the elements of sadhana. And whenever we happen to miss them, we should feel separation from that sadhana elements. Those are the feelings of separation experienced at sadhaka level. Once we start missing opportunities to chant, hear, take darshan, or offer Damodar lamp in the association of devotees, then eventually we'll come to the stage of feeling separation from Krishna. Because our connection with Krishna in the sadhana stage is through elements of sadhana. We need to cultivate attachment to the elements of sadhana. We need to feel that separation from these elements of sadhana whenever we happen to miss them. Then eventually we'll cultivate these feelings of Govinda Virahenami. So with this, let's come to the last shloka of Sikshastakam. Aslishya vapadaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sayevana paraha. This is a very high shloka. This is on prema stage, not even bhava stage. When bhava becomes very condensed, when that emotion for Krishna becomes extremely condensed, it becomes prema. Bhava is the preliminary stage of prema. Prema is the advanced stage of bhava. Let's see the prema level shloka here. Aslishya vapadaratam means either you embrace this fallen soul or pinashtumam, or you trample me or neglect me or ignore me by not showing yourself to me. Adarshanan marmahatam karotuva. Adarshanan means not revealing his form to us. Means not even showing yourself to somebody. That is called adarshana. Darshana means to see. Adarshana means not being able to see. Adarshanan marmahatam karotuva, or break my heart. Marmahata means breaking my heart. Or you break my heart by not presenting yourself before me. That's what Krishna did to some degree. The gopis came with intense eagerness to dance with Krishna on Sharad Purnima Day, which we celebrated recently. But Krishna just left them. And the gopis felt so pained at heart. And they're praying for darshan. Krishna, please, please show yourself to us. Sharadudashaye sadhu jata sat sarasi jodara shri mushadrusha suratanathate shulkadasika varada nighnato neha kimvadha. So the gopis are saying, please show your beautiful lotus-like face. Your face is so beautiful that the beauty of your face resembles the beauty of a freshly blossomed lotus in Vrindavan ponds in autumn season. So, Adarshana, sometimes the Lord may not reveal himself to his devotees, and the devotees are feeling intense separation. But in such a situation of separation, will the devotees give up their love for Krishna? No. Their love for Krishna is not diminished. In fact, it is intensified in that situation of separation. Actually, love means even if the beloved troubles you, doesn't reciprocate with you, still your inspiration to love him continues. That is love. I will love him only when there is reciprocation. Then that is not love. It's like you are demanding. You are serving the beloved, and the beloved is indifferent towards your service. Still, will you love him? That is your love. To some degree, we can see a small glimpse of it in parents. So parents love their children, although children don't reciprocate with them sufficiently. Although they do some mischief, they are naughty. Uh, the parents are trying to feed the kids, and the kids say, "I will not eat. I didn't like it." He will throw away. So, but still, the parents' affection for the child is uncompromising, right? It's a small glimpse, but in its highest manifestation, this selfless love is seen in the relationship between Krishna and his devotees, especially the Vrajavasis, especially the gopis, right? Adarshanan, although the Lord is not even showing himself to us, still. Yatha tathava vidadatu lampato. Oh Lord, you are completely free to do anything and everything. Whatever you want, you can do it with me. You trample me. See, pinashtama means you trample me, or you embrace me, or neglect me. Don't even show yourself to me. Still, mat prananathas tusayeva na aparaha. Na aparaha means nobody else can be my prananatha. Only you are my prananatha. This is very, very highest manifestation of prema for the Lord. Because oftentimes people in this world, with all due respects to their emotions, let's discuss this common quote unquote reasonable mentality. Unless you receive a reciprocation from them, why should you show love on them? It's the common mentality of everybody, almost everybody. I'm not getting any reciprocation. Why should I serve? That's the point. But on spiritual plane, despite lack of reciprocation, you want to constantly serve. That is love. That is selflessness. That is unmotivated and ahituki mode of loving the Lord. Of course, the Lord will definitely reciprocate, but for argument's sake, even if the Lord doesn't reciprocate, even if the Lord doesn't even see you, still you are so obsessed with loving that person. So that is pure love, right? Mat prananathas eva naparaha. If a relationship breaks because of lack of accessibility or availability or mercy or reciprocation, then that relationship is not constant. It's not on the highest platform. On the material platform, that kind of obsession towards someone due to despite lack of reciprocation is considered foolishness. But on spiritual platform, because a devotee is naturally and constitutionally and eternally connected to Krishna, that relationship can never break. Constitutionally, it can never break. Intrinsically, there is an obsession, there's an infatuation, there is deep-rooted attachment towards the Lord, right? That's the natural state of a soul. A soul naturally loves Krishna more than anything else or anyone else in the entire cosmic manifestation, right? So this kind of intense love, despite lack of reciprocation, is natural for a soul, and it's very difficult for us to understand how Radharani or all the Vrajavasis are still obsessed with Krishna, although their association with Krishna is only for a decade, but the separation is for a century. For a century, if the Lord doesn't reciprocate with you, if somebody doesn't connect with you, will you still remember the person? Even 1 week of separation is sufficient for us to forget the person. How many people who have been your close friends some time back, and how many amongst them are you still remembering? Hardly a handful. We may be in touch with so many close friends, say in our third grade or fifth grade, Now, fifth grade, some of you are in fifth grade, some children here, of course, many of them are adults, but some kids here, they're in fifth grade, for example, they have some good friends. They're constantly seeing them in school. 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, or 30 years down the line, will that connection still be the same? Because everybody will just go in different directions according to their career or family or tastes and all. When there is no constant interaction, we are not constantly in touch with the person, we can conveniently forget that person. But the Vrajavasis, although Krishna is sitting in Mathura or Dwaraka and not even coming to Vrindavan frequently, still the level of love of all the Vrajavasis towards Krishna is intact. It's undisturbed. In fact, it is day by day increasing only. Already that love for Krishna is unlimited. And in the situation of separation, that is increasing more and more. How can infinite increase? How can something which is already unlimited constantly expand? That's the nature of Vrajavasi's love for Krishna. Already it's unlimited and it is constantly expands without any restriction in restriction. So that is Vrajavasi's love. So this is called humility. Unless one has humility, humility is not a material quality that has to be exhibited to get things done. Let's speak little humbly, then only he'll listen to us. Not that way. Humility is the intrinsic characteristic of every single pure soul who is in love with Krishna. So only when there is humility, you will be able to tolerate adarshana. You will be able to tolerate pinashtumam. You will be able to keep trust and faith on the person who is not reciprocating with you. This deep humility is an intrinsic characteristic of a pure soul. So just like iron naturally gets attracted to a magnet, similarly, a devotee naturally gets attracted to Krishna. There is no possibility of the souls getting attracted to something else other than Krishna when the soul is in pure consciousness. When we are getting attracted to something else other than Krishna, that is only because we are in impure consciousness. So when a devotee is dedicated to the Lord to this degree, then the Lord says, Naparayeham niravadya samyujam swasadhu krityam vibudhayusha pivaha yama bhajan durjarageha shrinkhalaha sambrusya tadvatha pratiyatu sadhuna. That's why Krishna says, Naparayeham. My dear gopis, I have no ability to sufficiently reciprocate with your love. Because you love me so intensely, I feel so bankrupt to repay for your love, to reciprocate with your love. I feel very incapable and inefficient. I feel very incapable of loving you sufficiently because you love me more than anything else and anyone else and love me more than yourselves. I don't have the ability to reciprocate with you. So sadhu krityam vibudhayushapiva means may you be satisfied with your own love for me. I don't have the ability to reciprocate with your love. May you be satisfied with your own love. Now you may ask, what is the logic behind this kind of love, this kind of obsession, this kind of dedication and surrender? Actually speaking, that only gives unlimited ecstasy to the soul. In comparison to the happiness of selfless love for Krishna, even Krishna doesn't have anything else to offer us beyond that. Krishna said, Oh gopis, you loved me so selflessly, you served me so selflessly. Although I am not reciprocating with you, you are still loving me. Although I am revealing that I don't have the ability to reciprocate with you, I cannot repay you for your love. Even if you give me one full lifetime of Brahma, I won't be able to repay you for your love. Although I am saying this upfront in front of you, still you are loving me. That means no one can love me as much as you love. That means you are the topmost lovers of Krishna, and only that selfless love can completely satisfy you. I don't have anything beyond this to offer you. So Krishna says that when somebody selflessly loves him, that selfless love can satisfy the heart more than anyone else, more than anything else. So this is the greatness of selfless love. Now, that's a short explanation on the sixth shloka. And of course, what I spoke today in the second half of the class, shloka number 6, 7, 8, I have zero realization of it. And even the first 5 shlokas also I'm struggling to apply it. When we are speaking some very, very high topics, sometimes we may consciously or unconsciously believe that we are on that level. But let me acknowledge that I'm not on that level. The first 5 shlokas are in the sadhana bhakti stage. 6th and 7th shlokas are on bhava bhakti stage. And the 8th shloka is on prema bhakti stage. So in just 10-15 minutes, we discussed each shloka as much as I understood little bit. But it's a disclaimer that there is much more to understand. What we understood is only on the theoretical platform probably. But this little bit of understanding will help us appreciate the potential of bhakti and how much a devotee can reach heights in the process of bhakti. Now, let me summarize once. First shloka describes the 7 results of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Second shloka describes specifically about the holy name of the Lord, how it is accessible, merciful, and powerful. Third shloka describes the 4 keys for constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord, which is Trinadapi Sunichena. Fourth shloka describes some unfavorable attitudes and emphasizes that we have to relinquish these unfavorable attachments towards Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, etc. to be able to chant constantly. Then fifth shloka describes the natural constitutional position of every single soul, which is to be a kinkar of Krishna. Then sixth and seventh shlokas describe the external and internal symptoms of that constant emotion of being a servant of Krishna. Kinkara, constant bhava. These two are in the bhava stage. And the last shloka describes that steadiness in perfection, completely steady. What is perfection? To love Krishna is perfection. What is steadiness? Although Krishna doesn't reciprocate with your love, still you are steadily loving him. That is steadiness. Perfection is to love Krishna, and complete perfection and steady perfection is to love Krishna despite lack of reciprocation from Krishna. That is the highest stage called prema. Now let us see the Sikshastakam from another perspective. First shloka is on the sadhana stage. Second shloka describes our awareness of incompetence in sadhana. First shloka describes the potency of this sadhana. Second shloka describes our own incompetency in practicing that sadhana. Then third shloka describes the method of sadhana. How can you remove that incompetency? How can you remove that misfortune of not being able to chant? By following the method prescribed for sadhana. That is to cultivate humility, tolerance, and other qualities, respect. Then fourth, avoiding unfavorable things for sadhana. Then fifth, knowing one's real swarupa identity. That is Krishna's kinkara. So all these 5 shlokas are on the sadhana level. Then 6th and 7th shlokas are on bhava stage, where you develop emotion for the Lord, and in that emotion you feel a sincere separation from the Lord. You miss the Lord. Only when the emotion is intense, you feel separation. Then the last shloka describes the ultimate perfection of the cherished goal, which is Krishna prema. Now, one more perspective of seeing these Sikshastakam shlokas. First 5 shlokas are on Sambandha Jnan platform. They describe the Sambandha Jnan, which is the basis of Abhideya. And all the 8 shlokas are part of Abhideya. You know what is Sambandha, right? Sambandha means a description of a devotee's relationship with Krishna. That includes a description of Krishna's glories and a devotee's constitutional position. Abhideya means the process of reviving that relationship. Prayojan means the result of reviving that relationship or result of following that process. That is prema. So first 5 shlokas specifically talk about Sambandha Jnan, and all 8 shlokas are describing Abhideya, and the 6th to 8th shlokas describe give an instruction on Prayojan. So this we already discussed: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Thank you so much for your patient hearing in the last 5 sessions on Sikshastakam. There's much more that we can elaborate, but this is a brief outline of Sikshastakam in about 5 sessions. Thank you very much. Shri Sikshastakam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. And I'm sorry for today's delay in the class because we started late. I had to do another service. Any questions or comments? Maybe it's late for you. We'll not take questions. Thank you very much. We'll meet some other time. Probably we will not have some satsang classes in the next couple of weeks because of Kartik month and many of us are going for yatra. We will announce in the group when will we have next classes. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.